Hello and welcome to today's lesson, which is all about the seasons. And we're specifically looking today at summer. So everything today to do with the music that we're listening to and performing is all to do with summer. And summer is just around the corner, so that's quite nice as well. Now, things that you will need today, well, actually, not very much at all. It might be that you have been onto the website, theatreofmusic.com, and had a look at live lessons and resources page, and you will have found the PDF for today's lesson, the summer worksheet. It's linked in there underneath the link to this YouTube video, which will obviously be staying put, so you can click on that link in the future if you want to revisit. And all of the music samples that you're going to hear today, all the little excerpts, can be found there as well. And all of those music excerpts, just to remind you, have been created by me. I've created it all using computers and computer sounds. So there are no live musicians performing other than me live now when we do this, things a little bit later. Everything else is recorded so that we don't get into trouble for copyright. And as always, I will say to you, but go away and have a listen to a live orchestra playing these pieces of music, because it makes such a difference. Listening to live orchestras, listening to live musicians, it is so different to listening to something, excuse me, that is computerized. So different. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. We're looking at summer, and that is our focus. And there's the worksheet, or you can find it as a JPEG on the Facebook page. But to be quite honest, everything that you need is on the slides, and you don't necessarily need to write anything down this week. It's entirely up to you if you choose to. So there is no real need for a pen or pencil unless you feel the urge that you really want to write some stuff down. But there is no real necessity to that. Okay, so let's move on and have a little look at what we're looking at today. This is our key focus. These are the two words that we're really focusing in on today to find out about. So we're looking at something called a round. A round is a musical idea that starts at different times so that it overlaps. And it's something that's used a lot in nursery rhymes. So if you think of the nursery rhyme, London's Burning, and you do London's burning, London's burning, when you get to fetch the engine, a different group of people would start with London's burning, so that you're overlapping. You're singing exactly the same thing all the way through, but you're sort of overlapping. And that overlapping idea creates something called a round. Okay, and the other thing we're going to have a look at today is something called a drone. Now, a drone is a note or a chord that is played throughout most or all of a piece of music. And the best example I can give of a drone is if you think about bagpipes. I love bagpipes, Scottish music, bagpipes, fantastic instruments. Not everybody's cup of tea, but I think they're fantastic. In the background, when you hear bagpipes played, there's this continuous sound that is just there all the way through, and we call that a drone. Okay, but it's not specific to bagpipes. It can be classical music. It could be that you've got a cello playing a long held note. It doesn't have to be a low note. It can be any instrument that provides that continuous sound, that continuous note or chord that is being held throughout the whole piece or part of a piece. So we're going to be having a look at drone as well. Okay, so a round and a drone. Those are our two specific things that we're going to be looking at today. But before we go on to listening to and performing around and listening to and seeing how that works with a drone, we're going to have a listen to some other pieces of music that have been inspired by the season of summer. And the first one we're going to have a look at is a piece of music from A Midsummer Night's Dream. Well, actually, both of them are by a composer called Mendelssohn. Now, Mendelssohn really liked William Shakespeare. He thought William Shakespeare's writing and his works were fantastic. And he was particularly inspired by A Midsummer Night's Dream. And actually, he composed an overture to A Midsummer Night's Dream that was very, very popular. And so he composed it. And then 16 years later, he was approached by King Frederick William IV of Prussia, who asked him to write some more music for the play A Midsummer Night's Dream. So he composed music to accompany the play. And these pieces are called incidental music. So it's music that is being played to accompany what is going on in the story. And the play with both the overture, because of the King of Prussia really liked the overture. That's how he got the idea of asking Mendelssohn to compose all of this other incidental music. The overture and the incidental music were first produced and performed on the 14th of October 1843. So quite a long, long time ago, but a fantastic piece of music. So all of these little pieces just interspersed within the action and in the story to sort of bring it all together. Okay, that's what we're thinking of. There are two pieces of music from this that we are going to listen to. We're going to listen to the Nocturne, and we're going to have a listen to the Wedding March. And I wonder if you recognise either of these pieces. So what we're going to do is have a listen. You don't necessarily have to write anything down, but if you want to, feel free. You can write it on the back of the worksheet or just on a piece of paper, but you don't have to write anything down. What I want you to do is just have a listen and think about what these pieces are actually describing within the context of the play, and whether you think that they work, whether they achieve what they are being set out to achieve. Okay, so the first of these pieces, I'm just going to disappear for a little while you do this, because I always think I'm a distraction. The first of these pieces that we're going to listen to is the Nocturne. The Nocturne is played between Acts 3 and 4, and it's at this point that Hermia and Lysander and Helena and Demetrius are fast asleep, and they are fast asleep, and it's supposed to be that this music is playing while they're sleeping. Have a think about what you think is being described while they're sleeping. Here we go. So here's the Nocturne. Okay, so there we have the Nocturne. Now, what does nocturne mean? Do you know what nocturne means? A nocturne is a piece to do with the night, nocturnal. So it's describing the night time. So what do you do at night? You dream. And so this piece of music is quite romantic. It's a very romantic melody. It's being played on the horn, and it's supposed to sort of give you this feeling, evoke this idea of the four lovers fast asleep and dreaming romantically, romantic thoughts. And at this point in the play as well, Oberon is sort of forcing Puck to repent and put right the wrongs that he has done, because he's been messing about with all sorts of things, and sprinkling his fairy dust and creating havoc. And so at this point in the play, sort of Oberon is giving old Puck a proper ticking off and saying, you've got to fix this. So this sort of romantic music going on while you've got this sort of nighttime scene and everybody fast asleep. This piece of music is used a lot by horn players for auditions, because it's very rare for you to have such a long, beautifully lyrical solo horn section within a piece of music like this. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful melody. And so, they do use it quite a lot for auditions. Let's have another little listen to it. And now you've sort of got the context of it, see whether you agree. Does it sound like nighttime? Everything's sort of very peaceful, fast asleep, and dreaming those sort of romantic thoughts. So have another little listen and see what you think. Such a pretty piece of music. And to me, I think it does sound a little bit like it's sort of dream-like. It's very gentle, it's very calm. Although there is a little bit of an increase in dynamics, it's not huge, it's not massive. It's all very chilled out, which is what you want at night time. Now, the second piece we're going to have a little listen to is called The Wedding March. I don't want to say too much about this one. I just want to play it to you, because I wonder, did you recognise the first piece? Did you recognise the nocturne? Had you heard that before? Obviously I have, but that I wouldn't have expected necessarily for it to be out there and everybody to have heard that one. Let's see about this second one. Let's see if you can recognise the Wedding March. So let's pop the Wedding March on and see what you think. Okay, did you recognise that one? I've got a feeling that you probably did. It's probably one of the, if not the most famous piece of music by Mendelssohn. The Wedding March is that single sort of piece of music that everybody knows. It's actually within the play. introduces the fifth and final act of the play. Hermia is getting married to Lysander, Helena to Demetrius, Hippolyta to Theseus. Everybody is sort of getting married, and so this music introduces that idea. It opens with that sort of, it's instantly recognizable, that sort of fanfare idea. And actually, we're hearing the beginning of it, but if you heard the final version of it, the sort of final playthrough of it, because they play it through, and then Mendelssohn's got another section that's different, and then he goes back to it, and then there's another section that's different, and then he goes back to it. So he's sort of creating this sort of structure where it keeps returning. When you hear the final version of the main theme, he adds in twittering flutes and strings and things, which sort of reminds you of the fairies that were involved in all of these marriages. It was Princess Victoria's mother's, so Queen Victoria to us, Queen Victoria, she loved this. It was one of those pieces of music that she absolutely loved. And she loved it so much that when Princess Victoria got married to Prince William of Prussia in 1858, she said that this music had to be used in the wedding. And since that wedding, it's been a feature of thousands of weddings ever since. So, I mean, if it's good enough for Queen Victoria, it's good enough for us, isn't it? Let's be truthful. It's often played on a pipe organ these days, obviously, because if you're getting married in a church, for example, then you would have a pipe organ playing it. And that's probably the version that most people are familiar with. But it is written for the orchestra. Let's have another little listen to this piece, because it is just such a fantastic, very dramatic piece of music, very dramatic for the bride coming down the aisle. There we go. So dramatic. I love it. I absolutely love it. I play for weddings, and I love it when they choose that one. It's such a dramatic piece of music. It's fabulous. So we have looked at two pieces of music that have been influenced by summer, because they have been influenced by A Midsummer Night's Dream, the play by William Shakespeare. But we have not looked at anything to do with a round or a drone, and that's what we're going to do now. We're going to have a look at a song called Summer Is A-Comin' In. It's a traditional song, so we don't know who composed it specifically. It's been around for an incredibly long time. You can see its original spelling there, which is in the Old English, and it was written at some point between 1225 and 1310. So we're talking a very, very long time ago. And it can be sung as a round over a drone. So I'm going to play you the music, because I've obviously created a track for it. I'm going to play you the music, and what I want you to do is I want you to listen out for the drone in the background, so that continuous sound of a note or a chord being played all the way through, and then see if you can hear how the music overlaps. So there's no words with it on this track. It's an instrumental track, but there will be words when we come, when we perform it, because we're going to learn how to sing it. So let's have a listen to Summer Is A-Comin' In. hoping that you were able to hear sort of like a duh sound all the way through. Ba. That sound is the drone. So if we listen to it again, let's see if I can set it up and listen to it again. You can hear that drone sort of sound going all the way through the piece, either as a chord or as an individual note. So that drone sound is constantly there. And then we have da 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 da, and that's the tune. Now there are words to this, so let's have a little look at these words. Here's the words for it. And it is, summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. So that's how the song goes. Let's have a little go at learning this. The song, when you break it up and make it into a round, if I started singing from the beginning, summer is a-coming in, at that point, when I start the loudly sing cuckoo, that's when you would start singing summer is a-coming in, and then just carry on all the way through the song. So let's have a look at this, the words for this and the tune. It's up to you whether you sing it at the pitch that I'm singing it. I'm singing it quite low. It should be okay, or you can sing it higher up if you want to. It's where it's comfortable for your voice, okay? As long as it's the tune that's there, it's where it's comfortable for your voice. So, summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Try and sing that with me. After 2, 1, 2. Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. And again, it's in 6/8, so we're counting, that's why we're counting in 2. 1, 2. Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Okay, happy with that? I hope you're happy with that. Let's see if we can get to the end. So the next line, groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. So just listen to that bit again. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Have a go at singing that with me as well. After 2, 1, 2. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. And again, 1, 2. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Let's do that line one more time, because I think the first line's easier. Ready? 1, 2. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Now let's try it, put it all together. So go from the beginning all the way through to the end. Here we go. After 2. 1, 2. Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. And again, summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Okay, now let's see if we can do it a little bit quicker, because the track is much quicker than that. That's the speed we need to go at, really. So, after 2, 1, 2. Summer is a-coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. How did you get on? Hopefully brilliantly. Let's try it with the track, shall we? Let's see how we do with the track. So here we go. Summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Now, we're not singing it as a round at the moment, we're just singing it as a song. So let's see if we can create the round. So when I start it this time, I'm going to start singing The Summer is a Coming In to get you started. And I want you to just carry on singing it all the way through. And what I will do is go back to the beginning and sing it from the beginning again to create that round. And let's see how we all do. Hopefully we all get at the end at the same time. So here we go. Summer is a coming in, summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. It's quite tricky, isn't it? Particularly when you've got a bit of a croaky throat, which I have today. But let's give it another try. Let's give it another try. I bet you were brilliant at it. So you just keep going and sing it all the way through. And don't be put off by me. So let's give it another go. Here we go. Summer is a coming in, summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Wow. Now, I bet you did brilliantly at that, and so brilliantly that I'm going to sneak an extra little thing in. Now, we've looked at ostinato patterns before. An ostinato pattern is a repeated pattern, something that keeps going on all the way through. And we're going to add a little ostinato pattern to this. And all it is sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo. So let's try it with the music. Sing cuckoo, 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 sing cuckoo. Now we're going to have another go, and what I want you to try and do is just sing cuckoo, and I'm going to sing the song over the top, and see if you can keep that ostinato pattern going all the way through. And then actually that's 3 parts, so you could create quite a little group if you've got somebody at home that you could do this with, where you could do the round and then put that extra part in as well. So let's have a little go. You sing the sing cuckoo. Here we go. Sing cuckoo, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. Summer is a coming in, loudly sing cuckoo. Groweth seed and bloweth mead, and spring the woods anew. It's amazing what you can do with one of these pieces of music to make even more of it. So you've got the drone, that sound continuously in the background. There is a bass part for this as well that is being played in the background that you could learn. There's the tune, Summer is a Coming In, that you can then create into and turn into a round, coming in at different points. And actually, if you have somebody coming in, summer is coming in, that's where the next group comes in. loudly sing cuckoo. The third group would come in, grow with seed and blow with mead. And the fourth group would come in from the beginning, spring the woods anew. So that you could actually create more than just the two parts that we're talking about. There's more layers that could be added to this to create this round. There's a lot there. And then you've got your ostinato pattern, sing cuckoo, sing cuckoo, that can be sung in the background as well. So much you could do with that. And I'm sure that you could have a lot of fun with it and do great things with it. All of the tracks are on the Theatre of Music website under live lessons and resources. So we've reached the end of today's lesson, but let me leave you with some extra bits and pieces that you could have a look at doing. Maybe have a listen to some other pieces associated with the summer and how the composers make the pieces of music sound summer-like. So you could have a listen to something called like Summertime by Gershwin. Amazing piece of music, a beautiful song. Summer from the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. And we haven't listened to any of Vivaldi yet. And yet when people think of the Four Seasons, we think of the Four Seasons, the concertos by Vivaldi. We will have a listen to some Vivaldi next week when we look at autumn. And then maybe something like Summer Breeze by Seals and Crofts. So a bit more modern. There's other pieces of music that are associated with summer, talking about the beach and all sorts of things like that. You could have a listen to all sorts of music associated with summer, but have a listen to something and maybe see how they have sort of conjured up this idea of the summer and how it makes it sound summery. You could also do even more with that Summer Is a Coming In than we've just done and really develop it into a bigger piece of music, which would be absolutely fantastic. But we have reached the end of today's lesson. And so I hope you've enjoyed it. Next week, definitely going to be looking at autumn, which seems a bit weird when we're sort of moving into the actual season of summer, but we're going to have a look at autumn and we're going to be exploring a bit of Vivaldi along with some Tchaikovsky. Mendelssohn's sister was also a composer, so we're going to have a listen to some of her music. We're also going to have a little listen to some Scott Joplin. Very different composers and musical styles, but we're going to be exploring the season of autumn. So have a great week. Bye for now.